What's up, friends? Welcome to Wing It Motorsports Garage. So this episode, it's been a minute since the last one I tried to make. Been doing a little bit of house stuff, trying to get my house ready to sell. I think I mentioned that maybe in the last video I was talking about that. Anyways, we've been looking for a new house, trying to get something with a shop, or at least room for a shop. Well, that being said, I took a break on the talk car stuff. I mean, when I say I take a break, I say that pretty loosely. I bought and sold a G35 sedan 6-speed, and I had to do a bunch of work to that. And I was actually going to do a video on that car as a type of daily driver or drift car, but I ended up just getting rid of it. Somebody offered me a good amount of money for it. I let it go. So with a little bit of cash I made off that car, I decided to just go apeshit towards the 350Z. Finish it out, put it on the track, because if you seen from the last video, I was talking about how it didn't do exactly well. But if you hadn't, the kind of recap of the LS350Z problems were. So here's one, starters. So I was blowing out this fuse here. I had everything run off to the accessories. I was blowing this fuse. So I have it looped right now. That was just to run the rest of the track day, and I haven't changed it since then. That's going to get addressed. Second, my cooling fans failed. Here's the old setup. So to make an LS work, they're very, very similar to a KA S13. You have to have your output input on that side, the left side of the car. So with a 350Z radiator, you got your neck over here. That stays the same. This one's over here on this side. So, it doesn't work for an LS, obviously, if anyone's ever done one of those swaps. Well, I had two small fans. They're the fans that I used to run on my FD car. I kept them, and I guess they stopped working. I got one worked about half the time. So I couldn't drive the car on the street. It was getting kind of silly. It would overheat on me and stuff like that. So it parked. And then the second part was the fuel system. So I was running an Aeromotive 340 stealth pump. What I think happened was, I think the fuel boiled over, idling too long on a hot summer day. It was probably about at least 100 degrees out, and on blacktop it was hot. So what I think happened was it overheated, the fuel boiled over, cooked the pump. Maybe the pump was fine. I don't care. I pulled it out and put a new one in there. So right now it runs fine. I didn't have any issues with that. So it was just the cooling system. So that was some of the things that needed to be addressed pretty quick. Another thing was the ABS system. Of course, I have mine unplugged. But if anyone's ever worked on a 350Z, they know that it's a big pile of crap when it comes to that huge ass block, a bunch of weird lines. Mine are set up kind of goofy. I don't like it, never have. That's something that has to be changed. So I got online, I looked at Chase Bays. Let me rewind. So now I have a little bit of cash to spend because I sold my G35. So I went online, could have been a little bit of drinking involved, maybe. I decided to it's the ABS delete kit that they have. It's about $350. It comes with the rear bias control and all the lines, everything's figured out. Granted, it is a little pricey because you can go on Summit and you can piece out all the pieces yourself. But because they've already figured it out, they know the links and everything like that, I decided to just say, screw it. Let them, do all the math on that, the homework on the links and stuff. So went ahead, ordered the the small lines going from the caliper to the fender well. Did all those because if you replace one, you ought to replace them all. Pretty much. So, and then I also got their Chase Bays clutch master cylinder, and I'll use my own line kit for that because I think I already have one on the car. But the factory one, it was starting to give out on me when it would get hot. So I think it was just, maybe it was getting hot. The seals are starting, they're probably, it's a 2003. It could be the original one for all I know. So I wanted to replace that, get everything going up there, get rid of the ABS. Wanted to keep the power brakes. I really was tempted to go back to the manual brakes like I had on the right-hand drive car, but it was like another $200, and I kind of decided screw it, power brakes are kind of nice. So that was one thing I bought. Second, the FDF kit, Mantis kit, I believe. Those guys seem to make a pretty good kit. I really didn't want to do a WiseFab because one, it's a little bit more expensive. Two, I've made fun of WiseFab for like the last 10 years and I can't buy one and put one on a car. Granted, more power to anyone who has it. I won't ever do it just because so many times I've made fun of people. So the FDF kit, it looks pretty good. It looks really stout. It's all made of pretty high-end steel. You know, all the heim joints pretty thick. It looks like you can street it pretty well. So I'm hoping that the kit looks as good as it does when I ever get in person. There's like a 2-3 week wait on it. So hopefully, you know, I get that in time. There is an event after FDSTL, so I'm just going to try to make that if it's possible. The next thing, I will install the Hydro, which it's been hanging out up on my shelf for freaking probably a year now. I don't even know. I think I bought it for the 240 and just never installed it. So that will be going on to this car. Let's see what else. Oh, went back to the black wheels. So sold all my other wheels with the one set with the G35. And then I sold the white and got some blacks back. Over 6 more of these wheels. I really don't care what anyone says about these wheels. They're cheap. They're super awesome. The dismount and the offsets look good, and I like the deep dish and the spokes. I mean, sure it works and all that stuff look cool, but these wheels are 145 bucks a piece shipped on eBay, and they're relatively light. So, and then the most important thing is because I break down all my tires. Super easy to get a tire on and off of them and to beat them up. So to me, that's more important over, you know, a lot of things. Then next, so the cooling system. Now for an LS350Z, I haven't found a good cooling system. Someone can correct me in the comments if they want to. I haven't found one that I liked, at least. They have some stuff. Mishimoto makes some radiators that look okay, but you know, the inlet and outlets are always on the wrong side, or one of them is, and then, you know, I'm always fooling with something like that. So I took the dimensions off my radiator, and if you guys remember from way back video, I put a lower rail, kind of similar to like a 240, weld that up and put that on there. So that's what my radiator actually sits on. So instead of the old plastic piece of crap, fiberglass, whatever the hell that is, thing that's flimsy and everybody that has a 350Z knows. So my radiator can sit on that. It's stout, it's sturdy, it doesn't go anywhere, and I use it as a jack point. You know, it's pretty awesome. Pretty easy to make if anyone ever wants to just do that. I mean, you could just put it wherever you want. You know, I kind of just did the stock size radiator, and you could make it a little lower if you wanted. You know, whatever you want to do. Anyways, so I went on Speedway Motors. I found a radiator that was a 2-pass, 3-inch with probably maybe a 2.5 inch core, something like that. But more importantly, it's a 2-pass radiator, and it was cheap. Because when I emphasize cheap, because when you're drifting, you want a really good radiator, but you also don't want to spend $1,000 on a radiator. Yeah, sure, you can say, oh, well, I want a $1,000 radiator because I want it to be the best. Yeah, but when you crash into someone, or when someone crashes into you, now your $1,000 radiator screwed the booch. So anyways, I found a $180 radiator with a 2-pass thick and the same dimensions as a stock radiator for a 350Z. So there's that one sitting over here. I am not going to compare them, but here it is. So now it will not fit directly in there. There are some things that I'm going to tweak. So that being said, actually I probably could leave this if I wanted to, but what I'm probably going to do is take this out, and I'm going to probably recap it. I'm probably going to move the hole just a little bit lower and have it come straight out instead of at an angle. See how it's slanted just a little bit. Mainly because it hits my oil filter. I don't really feel like moving my oil filter because I got it pretty nice set up right there. I kind of like how it is, but then again, maybe I decide to move it. I don't know. We'll get to that point. Anyways, Durell. So I got this off of Summit Racing. These things are awesome. Had this on the 240SX. It cooled great. Always loved it. It was awesome. So I went in and found another one. So they sell this size. It's two 13-inch fans. And then they have the flat door. So this is really nice for whenever you're just cruising on the highway. You're not actually blocking the wind. You actually getting some wind go through when you're driving, and you're not relying on just the fans. So that's actually pretty dope. So there's two of those. yeah, it does not direct, it's not complete direct fit to this. Probably going to have to, what I'll do is just cut this or box it in, so it notches around the outlet, outlet. So, or inlet to the engine, whichever. And then I will have to notch this around here too, just so I can fit the top one. Not a problem. It's just some steel, I believe. It looks pretty nice. It's nice and coated. Probably powder coated or something like that. It'd be easy to cut and weld, whatever, manipulate. It's $350, so who cares? We'll put some tabs on it and make that fit. Now, I'm hoping it should fit. It'll be really tight. I may lean the radiator forward. I haven't put them up, together in there and actually put them in there yet. It is going to be a snug fit because it is thick. That Dorelli setup is 4 inches thick, and then you have a 3-inch thick radiator. So that being said, I will not be able to use the stock core support probably anymore, which is fine with me. Don't really like it anyway. So what I'll probably end up doing is put it in here. I'll get a side view. So it probably won't sit straight up and down. Probably what it'll do is probably have a slate, angle to it, kind of like what we would do on an S13 anyway. Or if I do run out of room, what I may do is just cut out this lower bar and build a new one, which is fine with me. I don't care. I'll do it. So, just a few things with that. That'd be pretty cool to get done. I should have that done probably by the end of the weekend, and hopefully get this thing back on the street with the new radiator setup, and that way I can drive it and get it all kind of broken in, make sure everything's right with that. And then hopefully the brake line kit will show up. I can put it back on jack stands, start tearing it into that, and hopefully by the time I'm done with that, the FDF kit will come in. One more thing that I bought that this car is desperately needed. Rear arm kit. So I bought the ISR. Now, I have not liked the ISR stuff for a very, very, very long time. It used to be very, very, very cheap. Well, nowadays, it's one of the best stuff you can get for the money. Of course, I need a knife. But they're up their game on almost everything when it comes to, just fitment, quality, everything. So I've been pretty happy to put ISR on everything. That's what my engine kit, my mount kit is, the engine mounts. Them and Canton Racing, teamed up for that oil pan. So not a bad setup. Anyways, I'll show you these things. So here's the arms. Pretty nice. Very heavy, nice and stout. As far as I can tell, the welds are decent. They're welded inside. Oops. So they're welded inside and out on the tube, and they're boxed in pretty nice and strong. This is basically what I would build if I was going to build it. So, but right here they do have the rubber seals. So back in the day, ISR or ISIS used to be, the problem would be these would get rusty, they get dirt and water, sludge, just road grime on them, and they would eventually start wallering out and have play in them. So then you would throw them away. But now they're pretty stout. These came off my G35. They're pretty tight. I typically stay away from Megan, but for what they are, they're still really tight. They're really nice and sealed, relatively new. I figured I'd run them at least for a little while. Might as well save $200 there, at least for temporary. So that being said, that's pretty much it for this car. This video is getting a little long. I understand you guys got things to do, but this season I was trying to take a year off, and with the COVID, everybody was taking a year off. It sucks. We were sitting at home doing stuff, having this car in the garage, and you want to drive it, you want to get out there on the track. And I decided to finally say, screw it, I'm going to. So with a lot of events coming up in this fall, I just thought I'd try to hit at least a few of them this year. Then if this house sells and I get in a new spot, I plan on taking this car back into the garage, pulling everything out, reseal the engine, has a couple little leaks I'd like to address, check clutch, stuff like that. And then gut the interior and put a cage in this freaking thing. That's something major I want to do. I've been wanting to do it for a while with this car, and I would definitely want to get that done. I'd like to paint it. If my new place will allow for me to be able to paint in the garage, I will get it done. If not, we'll rewrap it, but it won't be black. It's definitely going to be a different color because when I'm on the track, I like to do a little bit brighter than that. Black is forever street car, but track car, because this thing will be dedicated street car probably pretty soon. We'll definitely redo that. And also a couple things with the engine bay, which will be pretty much done, but I really wanted to try to keep this guard, but it's kind of a bitch to work on, guys. If you guys try to keep it and you want to keep your car stock and kind of OEM feel with it, more power to you. But getting into that spark plug and that coil pack is way too hard, and I'm not a fan. So that's going to get torn out of there. And the same thing with the heater lines. If I move all that stuff back, I can change it over to AN lines and then actually still have heat. And that's a whole nother video. So, but anyways, I just wanted to guys get an update on what I've been doing. Want you guys to see the car and kind of my plan for it over the next couple of weeks. I'll probably do, once everything's kind of done, I'll probably do a couple like update videos on the parts I'm installing and how I felt about them. Maybe my Andy Lewis reviews on some of the stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, look forward to making another one of these. Hopefully I get a couple more videos out this fall. Hopefully get on the track and maybe actually do some GoPro footage. I know I've been saying that, but it's been a weird year. So stay tuned until next time. I'll see you guys later.